Hey, welcome to Half the Battle. Today we'll be delving back into the comic with issue 4, Operation Wingfield.
The cover once again depicts something that doesn't happen in the comic. In this case, most of the Joe team rushing forward, some of them shooting, with bombs bursting in air. The closest thing to this is near the end of the comic when the Joes burst in without firing a shot. The issue opens with a splash page of Wingfield, the guy the issue is named for, and we can immediately tell he's evil simply by looking at his mustache. His cap also depicts a nuclear explosion with the words "Strike First" on it, a not so subtle hint about the comic's story. He's instructing new recruits at a survivalist compound in Montana.
Why is it always Montana in fiction? I've been doing some research, and other states have far more of these kind of organizations.
Anyway, I say he's instructing them, but by that I mean he's gonna shoot at them with live ammo while they train evasive action.
To me, this doesn't seem like the greatest training method ever, but as we'll soon find out, this guy is a couple of recruits short of a platoon anyway.
Even his second-in-command and his wife seem to think he's exaggerating a bit. Hell, Arlie Ermey would probably tell this guy to lighten up. But Commander Nutjob presses on, with predictable results. He shoots a guy in the leg. And his preferred treatment for a gunshot wound is a field dressing and some aspirin. Yeah, that's not gonna do much when the bones are shattered. I'm kinda surprised, actually. I figured Captain Crazy Pants would help him Old Yeller style. I've been entrusted with the near impossible task of teaching these people how to survive.
By shooting them.
But first, they'll have to learn to be hard. Hard as me. Before things get out of hand, Hawk stops the show. We've been seeing an FBI surveillance tape. The FBI have been investigating these survivalist paramilitary freaks.
Yes, I should probably specify that this was written and put out years and years before the Waco and Ruby Ridge tragedies. In a more innocent time when these kind of nutjobs could still be put in comics.
Anyway, the Joes are ordered to investigate, since there's evidence Cobra is funding and supporting this guy. So Hawk sends himself and Grunt to go undercover, while Snake Eyes will be their backup outside. Grunt is thrilled! Hawk and Grunt become recruits at the compound, where they receive training they don't really need while scoping out the place. In fact, they have to pretend to be out of shape since even Major Madness over there would recognize elite soldiers doing his training too well. As Snake Eyes describes, they are pretending to be clumsy and slow in a most unconvincing manner. What's that? Snake Eyes doesn't talk? Well, you're right, he doesn't. But this is a rare occasion where he does communicate in his own words, writing a report during the mission. He observes some ancient fighter jets, as well as a goddamn B-29 Super Fortress, a heavy bomber capable of delivering a nuclear payload. His spidey sense tingling, he decides to go in to find if their words are backed with nuclear weapons.
Hey, seeing a bomber and deciding there could be nukes is a bit of a leap, don't you think? I mean, bombers have been known to drop non-nuclear bombs once or twice, you know.
While Hawk and Grunt go to check out the armory, Snake Eyes spies on a meeting with Wingfield and his top cadre. And a good thing he did too! Wingfield explains that waiting for the apocalypse is fun and all, but it just doesn't seem the world wants to end anytime soon. So why not give the Four Horsemen a push start? And he has the tools to do it too! Aside from installing a silent alarm in the armory, I wonder if that's gonna come up later, Cobra has also provided them with 2 nuclear warheads.
Wait, what? Technicians from Cobra who installed the silent alarm system that guards our armory have also provided us with 2 nuclear warheads. Cobra has nuclear weapons. How? When? Why? Who?
To hell with Wingfield, where's that story? I want to know how in the name of Beelzebub's briefs Cobra got nuclear weapons! And why in the Sam Hill would they give these weapons to crazy McEvil Mustache here, hoping he'll do what they expect him to do with them, instead of finding a use for those nukes themselves? By the way, I do like the way he casually relays this information. Oh yeah, those Cobra guys installed a burglar alarm, and they threw in some nukes too.
You know, I wish something like that happened when I got my security system installed. Alright, you've got your classic 5-digit code here, and oh yeah, I got some napalm in my truck. Do you want some?
Anyway, the plan is to use the bomber to fly to Vladivostok and drop one nuke, while the other one is in a shaft under the compound to detonate in case anything goes wrong.
Okay, small flaw here, idiot. This is the middle of the Cold War. The Russians have a crapload of radar and jet fighters and anti-aircraft installations that can easily shoot the bomber down before you get halfway to Vladivostok.
But yeah, plan A is to fly into the Soviet Union and drop a nuke, causing the Russians to retaliate and start World War III. They'll ride it out in their compound, and from the ashes they'll rise to create a new perfect world or some horse crap. Yeah, it's a cliché plot at this point.
But there's a plan B, where B stands for even more stupid, because in the crazy alphabet, that starts with a B.
In case their nuking Russia plan somehow fails, they'll detonate a nuke under their compound out of spite, causing the United States to retaliate, causing World War III. So, plan B is...
You know, sometimes I wish I was Linkara. Then I could show a clip from Patton now.
While all this exposition was going on, Hawk and Grunt find the armory, and they don't notice the silent alarm. Great recon job there, guys. The nut jobs surround the armory, but aren't given weapons, since Wingfield figures the trespassers are from inside the compound, so he doesn't know who to trust and doesn't want to give his enemies weapons.
That's actually pretty smart. In fact, that's the first smart thing he's done all issue.
The problem there, of course, is that the Joes are highly trained fighters, so they take out a dozen of his guys before they're captured. Knowing they've been compromised, Wingfield puts his blow Russia the hell up plan into motion immediately. Snake Eyes is still out there though, and he radios for help. He still can't talk, but by lucky coincidence, the communication shed has a telegraph. A telegraph! I'll just go with it. It's now dawn, as we see at the Joe Command Center and in Montana. Even though there's a 2-hour time difference between Staten Island and Montana, but whatever. Hawk and Grunt are about to be executed when Snake Eyes saves the day. That's one tradition I like. The last-minute rescue. Snake Eyes could have saved us at any time. He just wanted to see us sweat.
Well, thank you for pointing out the plot hole there for me, comic.
Yeah, just after they say this, they see the bomber take off. There's a problem with the timeline here. You see, Snake Eyes infiltrated the compound at 22:30 hours, 10:30 at night. He finds out about a meeting a little while later. Even if I'm extremely generous and say that the meeting started at midnight, it only lasted as long as one plot exposition before it was interrupted by the alarm. Let's stay generous and say it's now 1 a.m. They then capture the Joes. Let's say this takes place at 2 a.m. That leaves Snake Eyes at least 3, possibly 5 hours of free time, depending on the time of year. And this is freaking Snake Eyes, the unbeatable badass of the comic. He could have taken out every single one of those guys that are in the compound using just his thumbs. And he knows they are going to launch a nuclear attack. But no, he decides to hang back and make his buddy sweat.
Stupidest ninja ever.
So now Hawk has to rush to the airfield and find a plane, while Grunt and Snake Eyes have to keep Wingfield busy. The plan is to engage Wingfield, but when they discover he's got children with him, they hold off. Snake Eyes is back to communicating this fact in his usual way, with gunfire. Hawk finds a fighter jet and goes hunting for the bomber. He finds it quickly enough, and is able to take it out before it reaches Russian airspace. When the bomber stopped transmitting, Wingfield says, "Hot damn! Time for Plan B!" and arms the nuke underneath the compound. The people with him don't quite realize what's going on, but they do finally see him for the crazy rambling idiot he is and start leaving. And even though he knows they're all about to be vaporized anyway, his mustache convinces him this slight won't stand and is about to shoot them, when his wife finally has had enough of his bullcrap and shoots him in the back.
So she was fine with him bombing Russia, but this is where she draws the line?
Anyway, just after this, reinforcements from the Joe team arrive and they bust in. Sherry, that's the name of the wife, informs them Wingfield activated the nuke, and it's set to go off in 10 minutes. Also, he was the only one who could turn the thing off.
Wait. So, not only did you shoot him after he armed the nuke, but you also shot the only guy that could stop it? Lady, you're either hella stupid or just as crazy as he was.
Luckily, the Joes know a thing or two about disarming nukes, so they bring it out of the shaft and try to disarm it. Look, the only thing I know about disarming nuclear weapons I learned from Goldfinger, so I have no idea if any of this is realistic.
Well, I did try to ask a few official government guys about nuclear weapons, but now I'm on all sorts of watch lists.
But the crux of the matter is, Grunt has to lift a heavy as hell casing with the nuclear material out of the bomb. And as he lifts the Quidditch trophy or whatever, another deadly problem in the comic is solved by heavy lifting. And this is a thing, apparently. And the comic ends with Hawk assuring everybody no radiation leaked out. Yeah, I'd get a second opinion on that just to be safe. I didn't really care for this issue for several reasons. I have a real problem with Cobra having access to nuclear weapons. It would be a real game changer this early in the comics run, but as far as I know, it's never brought up again. Actually, looking over the issue, Cobra is mentioned a bunch of times but never seen, so I'm thinking this was another comic that was written before they had decided the Joes would have a regular enemy. So they shoehorned in Cobra at the last minute, and that's why Cobra has nuclear capability all of a sudden. Also, the plan, well, both plans Wingfield had, they didn't have a chance to succeed. The Russians would have shot down the bomber, and the Joes would have had enough time to warn the US that a nuclear detonation in Montana was homegrown.
Most importantly, though this did come out years and years before Waco, it came out after Jonestown. Even though that was a very different situation and a different compound, I could still draw quite a few parallels, enough that it left a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, this is the first time doing research for this show was a bit depressing. And on that happy note, see you next week, everybody! Why is it always Montana in fiction? I've been doing some research and there are far more of these sorts of blah 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 blah. Let's try that again. I've done some research and these kind of camps are found in bollocks. Why is it always Montana in fiction? I've been doing some research and these sorts of organizations... I have no idea where I'm going with this. This doesn't seem the best training method to me, but as we'll soon find...
But your bollocks did up good, you did.